on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Wait right there, okay? Before you go and hire a contract killer, hit that subscribe button right down there. All right? Really does help out the channel. Ow! Let us get into the 1994 film. It's called The Professional, or in French, it's called Léon.
Let's talk business. This guy comes to town every Tuesday. Are you free Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm free Tuesday.
This film stars, Jean Rene and a small, tiny 11-year-old Natalie Portman in her first film.
First role.
It revolves around Jean Rene being an assassin in New York City, where a little girl, her whole family gets assassinated by a crooked cop played by the one and only Gary Oldman, which, by the way, fantastic in this film.
Yeah,
as
great.
usual.
Awesome. Yep.
Okay. And she acquires the help of this assassin that lives next door. And boy, did some weird stuff happen.
But before we get to the problematic stuff, I want to say that I am conflicted about this film because this movie is awesome. This is a cool movie, dog. This movie is cool. Now, it knows it's cool. It knows it's cooler than you. The music is great. I thought all the performances were killer. Natalie Portman absolutely kills the game. But there is just this undercurrent of slime, and you cannot ignore it. They kind of set up before all this stuff happens that her and the assassin are friendly, right? Like, he sees her smoking in the hallway and they have a little friendly banter. In any other movie, this would be a meet cute. And I'm like, what, an 11-year-old? A meet cute? I'm like, okay, whatever. I knew this movie was going to be problematic because I'd seen it before, but it had been so long, I totally forgot. So I knew this movie was going to be problematic, but I did not realize the depth of the problem. I didn't realize how deep these waters were until I waded out there. That's almost a shame because I really want to talk about this movie because it is cool, man. I love the movie. I love the setup. Oh, the pacing was great. I thought it was shot fantastically. This is a killer movie here. But yo, Natalie Portman being 11 and looking 11 is problematic because Jean Rene is 30-something, 40-something, and he looks like it. And these two characters are falling in love. And this is wrong, dude. This is deeply wrong and disturbing, and I don't want to talk about it because this movie's so great, but I'm going to. So at first I was like, I'm reading into this, this isn't really happening.
No.
They're not falling in love.
They put it so blatantly, like the bat signal in your face.
And I know I got a lot of money with Tony. A lot. We'll take it and live together. Just the two of us, okay? Go.
No, I don't want to lose you. Yeah.
You're not gonna lose me, Matilda. You've given me a taste for life. I want to be happy, sleep in a bed, have roots. You'll never be alone again, Matilda.
Yeah, at the end, it apparently is even worse. Overseas, the French version was even worse. There are scenes cut for the American version because they knew that, we didn't have much of an appetite for this.
Do you like it?
Yes.
So say it.
I like it.
This movie is kind of gross.
You met a woman.
So early on, I was like, is this really happening or am I reading into this? Because first it's just a couple looks, couple little thing, I bought you a little dress. And I'm like, okay. And then she's laying down, she's wearing this crop top. And she's like, Leon, I'm falling in love with you. I could feel it. And she's like, down here. And I'm like, it's awful.
He spits up his milk.
How do you know it's love if you've never been in love before?
Because I feel it.
Where?
In my stomach. It's all warm.
What did he say? I don't know if Luc Besson was confusing crush with like these feelings, but you can't.
He's not. And that's the issue. Now I know a lot of people are like, no. She just was growing up, trying to learn more about like her womanhood or something. She was just too young to really understand these feelings. That's not what's happening. So there's in the original script, there was a sex scene between these two that got cut, and that's because of Natalie Portman's parents. They were like, no, and so that didn't happen. In the French version, there's a scene where she asks Léon to take her virginity, and he says no, not because she's too young, but because he's not a good lover. And like, no.
A girl's first time is very important. It determines the rest of her life sexually. I read that once in one of my sister's magazines. My girlfriends told me that they hated their first experience. That's because they didn't love the guys. And I like it the first time.
Matilda, no. You see, Matilda, I won't be a good lover.
Okay. Just do me one favor.
What?
Sick of watching you sleeping on your chair. We're gonna share the bed.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay, that is just bad. Now you gotta talk about Luc Besson.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So this movie is kind of based on him, and I know. Hold on to your hat. So
Hold on to your butts.
Luc Besson started a relationship with a girl and got her pregnant at 15. And I think they met, from what I understand, they met when he was 30 something or 29, 30, and she was 12. And he impregnated this girl, and he's had at least 9 accusations of sexual misconduct, 3 of which, I believe it's 3, were with underage girls. So this guy is a predator in real life.
And he put it on film.
He interpreted this in a movie. That little girl that he impregnated, Tyrone, it was the opera singer from The Fifth Element.
Get the fuck out of here. No.
It's her.
I met Luc, I was 12 years old. I was with somebody else at this time, a friend of him. But I fell in love when I was 15 with Luc. So for me, Léon is a story, it doesn't shock me because it was my story.
And so they got divorced because Luc Besson cheated on her with Mia Djokovic. And I know, this dude is a mess, man. When I looked him up, I was like, what in the heck? Who is this guy? So he cheated on her during The Fifth Element with Mia Djokovic. They got divorced because of it. And she has just been exploding, telling everybody all this stuff. She's like, we met when I was 12. We had sex when I was 15. I had a baby at 16. Like, she is letting out. She has been airing this dude out for years. I feel like this movie has ruined like 2 movies for me. Like, I'm not sure if I can watch The Fifth Element again.
It just ruined one scene for you in The Fifth Element.
No, remember, Tyrone, when we reviewed The Fifth Element, what's the first thing I said in that video? I said, this dude's like a molester or something. And the movie's cool with it. Because he was like, always trying to kiss her.
You're right. I shouldn't have done that.
And I was like, the movie's okay with this.
That is the first thing you said. That's the first thing you said.
Now that I know more about Luc Besson, I'm like, and it gives another reading into The Fifth Element. Lilu was literally born yesterday. This is a literal baby. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she very explicitly has sex at the end of the film. And by then she'd been on the earth for like 3 days. Like, this is a literal infant. Like, dude.
But she's in adult form, though.
Yeah, exactly. So just like in The Professional, Natalie Portman dresses like an adult. She acts like an adult. She smokes cigarettes like an adult. But she is not an adult, okay? She is a child.
Look beside, you done fucked up good.
Whoa, I never expected to go down this nasty rabbit hole. I did not know it was there. And I walked right past it too with The Fifth Element. I was like, it's kind of funny that this movie's kind of about molesters. And I'm like, what? This movie might actually be about? Lord. Yo, I kind of want to go back and watch. I want to go back and watch Taken. I want to go back and watch Lucy. I want to go back and watch all of them, dude. I'm like, is he okay? Luke, are you okay?
We're gonna have a Luc Besson episode. We do Lucy and we do Taken.
Ow! Like a virgin. Ow! Touched for the very first time. Like a virgin.
That is just disturbing.
It's disgusting.
There's not words for this. And I feel like there are times where you can be like a fence sitter. You can be like, oh, well, he's French. And maybe in France, apparently the age of consent is 15, which is lower than in the United States. So maybe it's okay. I'd say no. Sometimes you got to take a stand. And that is just wrong. But I'll be honest, it's a shame. Because like I said, this movie is great. This is a great movie. This is a movie I want to watch again and again. But I will never watch this shit again because I am just disgusted and turned off by what's happening in the background here. And there's like some really great like symbolism here. They use a really old famous symbolic trick of milk. You know, Léon does nothing but guzzle milk all day long. And milk is so like richly symbolic in film. When milk shows up in the film, there is usually some sort of a commentary on innocence, right? Because it feels like a child's drink, And so sometimes the good guys will drink milk, or sometimes the villain will drink milk, like he's like consuming innocence. And all Léon does is drink milk all day. And I think this is interesting because I think Luc Besson did that to show that maybe he was physically older, but mentally he was like kind of childlike. You know what I mean? But it reads to me like he's like consuming innocence because he's literally having a relationship with a child.
I'm gonna get some more milk.
It is hard to talk about this movie, and I want to, and it's like you're driving down the street, and the vista is just amazing, but on the street is like a dead guy with his guts hanging out, and you're like, I can't. How do you not talk about this? I
can't enjoy all the rest of this view.
How do you not talk about it? It's very difficult. I am so conflicted about this film, and I think I'm gonna have a really surprising rating at the end of this video.
Here's the thing, people. I've seen this movie when I was young, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't see it. I've seen it several times when I was younger, and when I say when I was younger, is under the age of 18, right? And then I saw it one time with my friends at her house, her friend's house, because it was like, what are we gonna watch? And it was like after a show or whatever me and my band did. And we went back to the house. I said, let's put on Léon. And I'm 29, 30 at this time. And then I'm like, okay, we're playing it. And then the girls are noticing things that I'm kind of not, I'm like noticing, but I'm like one of those people like, no. And then I'm like,
yeah, so I was too. I was like, no, can't do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
And then I'm like, and then I was just like seeing this through their eyes, and then her friend Stephanie was like, nah, I can't watch this shit. And then I'm like, I turned it off. I was like, what else you want to watch? But we watched some type of vampire crazy thing after that. But I was like, I came back to it, and I'm watching it for the review today. I was like, yeah, I definitely see what Steffi was saying.
Yeah, it's so messed up, man.
What exactly does your father do?
Well, he's a composer.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Except he's not really my father. He's my lover.
What did you say? Now, Natalie Portman, because of this film, she has had to go to therapy for it.
Yeah.
and she has had to pick roles that didn't have any type of sexual things that's involved in it.
Here too, your character has a kind of a strength and a stillness that kind of unsettles much older men. What's that about?
Well, we could talk about this all night, but I think it's a trope of cinema, of course.
It's cinema, not you.
Yeah, to have, a young girl, very, very young girl, disarm a much older man, be so mature and intelligent and wise beyond her years, but yet nubile. So, yeah, I mean, it's not something that's particularly something I think is a good trend, and obviously it's like screenwriters writing like some fantasy of like a young girl who's like intellectually an equal, but like,
a young girl.
A young girl.
She also says that on set, everyone was great. She didn't have any problems with Luc Besson. Everyone was super professional and great. He said her parents were like just behind the camera the whole time.
I was never subjected to any kind of weirdness that I've heard, colleagues, peers of mine who were child actors saying that they had seen drugs or that they had like weird passes made at them. I never had anything like that because my parents were like hovering
on it.
Apparently she had just a great experience shooting this film. She also really fought to get on this film. So like that's great, but from what it sounds like, a lot of the victimization came afterwards because some people really did kind of fall in love with this little 11-year-old girl, and the movie kind of wants you to, right? It really wants you to love her, and she gives such a great performance, but she is 11. And her brain isn't even freaking developed, dude. And it's so unfortunate because this movie is kind of amazing. Like, I think she turns in just an incredible performance. Like, for this to be like her introduction, her first film, wow, truly exceptional. Like the camera pushes in really close on her face, and she gives these like awesome facial expressions. It is just incredible. She does great. Gary Oldman absolutely destroys the game in this movie.
We said that last time when we did The Fifth Element, because like he destroys the game, and he does that in almost every single film that he's in, because he was so menacing and like didn't care about. He didn't care about his crew.
He was great. He was like drugged up and intoxicated, and you're like, what? Yeah. And so at first, you first watch the movie wants you to think, oh, this guy's psychotic. You're like, what's wrong with him? But then you're like, oh, he's a cop. He feels this way because he knows there will never be any repercussions for any of his actions. No. And that's such a great twist. I didn't even see it coming because they're like, the cops are coming, the cops. What do you want me to tell them? I'm doing my job. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what that means.
Okay, man.
And then I'm like, he's a cop. The movie is so well made. And Gary Oldman kills the game. Jean Reno, who plays professional, also kills the game. Natalie Portman destroys it. This is like almost an atomic bomb of a film. I can see film students, if you're like 18, 19 years old and you're like in film school, this is like the perfect movie to study, because I feel like it's not too difficult, not too complicated. This is just like, wow, I loved it. But that dead guy on the side of the road, I can smell his guts from here, and I'm like, it's hard to ignore that nasty undercurrent.
But not only when it comes to her brain being undeveloped about her feelings and shit, her brain is undeveloped because of how she wants to take this whole thing, how she wants to go kill this guy just abruptly because they killed her little brother.
Right.
It's like the movie totes from her having this ugly obsession with Léon, but then she'll snap back into train me how to clean, like a kid would want to do.
And Léon more or less is like, yeah, okay, you know, and so, and like I think the movie is trying to say, like I said, that she is really young, but maybe she's like somehow more emotionally mature, and while he's older, he's somehow like less mature mentally. So they kind of meet in the middle, right? The movie wants you to accept that these two characters would be together, and man, I really fought with that, man. This was an unusual film experience for your boy. The only other movie that was weirder than this, that was more unusual, was that one where he was licking the wounds. What's it called? Crimes of the Future. That one was also a bizarre film experience. This is like that. Yeah, exactly. Except I found that to my own disgust, I liked this movie. And I'm like, what in the hell?
It's like Crimes of the Future was disgusting, and they fought so hard to make you not like the movie because of how boring it was. With this film, it's so disgusting, and they fought so hard for you to make like the movie.
Yeah, I know. It's the mirror image of Crimes of the Future, right? Crimes of the Future is like, I'm gonna freak you out and disgust you. And I'm like, whatever. All right. It's weird, but you know, okay. And then they're like, oh shoot, I forgot to add a movie, right? That's kind of what Crimes of the Future is like. Mm-hmm. This one's like, this is a great movie, but I'm also gonna freak you out and disgust you by accident. And I'm like, you know? I'm like, man, look at that performance. Oh, I see the little twist they put there. Oh, I noticed the pig before he started using it. When he started using the little pig. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's nice. They planted that seed earlier. Like, but it's hard to enjoy that when there is an undercurrent of what I think is the most morally repugnant thing in the world.
Now that I know the background of Luc Besson, it's gonna be, I mean, y'all need to get out there and get him. You know, my mind's telling me no.
The more I learn about Luc Besson, the more disturbing things get. And it's a shame because he appears to be very talented. But man, oh man, is he problematic, y'all? he is problematic. And he made probably one of the most problematic films I've seen in the past 25, 30 years. Boy, this is a rough one, man. Rough.
Well, let's go ahead and get into our rating for Léon, aka the Professional.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like this movie.
Me too.
Because it's just so good with the acting, with the way he shot, he did his shots, to the intensity in certain parts. It was a genius of a film.
Yeah, it was really good.
But that dead man that Devin Kid talks about, and
that's in the corner of your eye. You can see him.
I have to take it down. I have to take the points down on this, man. Oh shit! I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice and give it a C-.
Okay, great. I think that's very fair, Tyrone, and very mature of you, Tyrone. I want to give this movie an A. My heart wants to give this film an A.
I'm there with you.
Truly enjoyed every aspect of this film except for one. And that one aspect was so deeply disturbing, and it only gets more disturbing the more you learn about Luc Besson. Like, I can't give it the A. So I'm gonna give this movie a B. And that's a shameful B for me because I really like this movie, but morally I can't. And so while I enjoy this movie quite a bit, I cannot recommend you watch this film. I do not think you should subject yourself to the level of discomfort that comes with enjoying this film.
I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm gonna say, put yourself through that discomfort one time in your life. Okay, to see this film, because it's a masterpiece smothered with poop, man.
It's the Mona Lisa with the shit stain, dog. It's terrible. I'm sitting here watching it. I'm like, yo, is this my new favorite movie? And then the movie gets going. I'm like, oh. Ooh. I'm like, oh. Because this movie is ranked in the top 50. I think it's like number 38 of like on IMDb's greatest movies of all time. And I can see why. But it should probably be a little higher if it wasn't so nasty. So, like, while this movie is a crowd-pleasing film, this is a genuinely good film. It is disturbing to watch because Natalie Portman, there are scenes where she's reaching real low with her hands. There's scenes where she is in, like, bra and panties dancing to Like a Virgin. There's scenes to her being face to face with the 40-year-old man, and they're both professing their love for one another and how they're gonna live together. That is not. She's not cool, man. Not cool. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this film. Yeah, no. I enjoyed this film, but I feel shameful for enjoying. I feel dirty for enjoying it. Like, I wish I didn't have. I wish I could talk more about the actual film, but it's so hard.
That just makes you a really good film reviewer, man. Because you're being honest with yourself. You're being honest with the film, and that's all you can be. You know, okay, that's all we can be. Same old T&D.
Oh, we're supposed to do a link or something.
But hey, I gave this film a C-. Devin gave this film a dirty B.
Dirty B, boy. Filthy. Disgusting.
He doesn't recommend it, but I get out there and get past this nastiness and see the gold within it. That is our rating and review for The Professional, aka Léon. Hey, thank you for clicking on this special rewind episode. If you can do us a favor, please hit that subscribe button. I just knocked something down off my table right there.
Good tell.
And go ahead and do that for me. And if you did like this rating and review, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit the thumbs down. Whichever you choose, it is your opinion. But just remember one thing. It's mostly wrong. You guys have an awesome day. Stay away from kids. All right.
Stay away from the kids, man.
Stay away from the kids.
And Luc Besson. Stay away from that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god. What'd you drop?
I dropped Luc Besson's dignity.
I think he threw that shit in the garbage, dude.